It's me, I'm the problem. I'm the one who gets super frustrated about why are you driving so slow, or why are you two cars in front of me driving next to each other so I can't get around? And they'll like do like a big chop on somebody and they'll just cut their hair and I'm like, look at all these flakes. And you just put an oil sheen on this dirty hair.
What does the perfect service look like?
I shouldn't leave feeling like I was ripped off, you know what I mean? The consumer is the only one suffering.
What's up, Todd?
What's up?
How goes it, man?
Look, I mean, there's a lot of things I can't complain about, but it ain't gonna make no difference anyway, you know what I mean?
Nice.
My friend was talking about like, how's it living in California? I'm like, look, the eggs high, the gas high, the weed high, everybody high. That's California in a nutshell.
How long have you been out here now?
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah. And it's still,
I thought it was 10.
it was 10, now it's 12.
I guess now, yeah.
I moved here in 2011.
What's the best and the worst thing about Los Angeles?
Despite the recent weather, but the weather is really nice. Even that sometimes feels like we live in a bubble. And it's like nothing's real. It's like there's no way we could have sunshine every single day. There's no diversity in the weather, you know? And because of there's no diversity, you kind of like take for granted like it's always gonna be sunny. So as much as I'm a like beach person, I'm like, oh, the beach is gonna always be there. I can just go next weekend and I never end up going.
Right.
Because it's always available to me. The worst thing here is that I am bliggity black, and there is no black community out here that does anything together, you know what I mean? And I think it's because LA is so segmented with different pocket communities. Like, you know, you got Black Hollywood, you got like, you know, black people who are from here, who have their own culture that don't necessarily mix with Black Hollywood or with the transient people who come to live here. Like, we just don't mix. And I think it's because of stereotypes. Because I know me, like, I'm from the hood where I'm from, but I don't know nothing about the hood out here, you know? And I don't want to come down here and trying to, like, dive in head first and be making mistakes. You know, I don't know the rules of the hood out here. And I don't have no hood chaperone to, like, take me around and show me, you know? So I just stay where I'm at.
I just found this black surfer group. I know it probably doesn't apply. Do you surf? You don't surf,
I don't, so I would. Like, I've been trying to, like, learn the stuff since I moved out here.
It's called Ebony Beach Club.
I think I followed them on Instagram.
Yeah, and they do stuff like every Sundays. I don't know if they're doing it right now because it's a little cooler, but they do like free lessons, free, but that's pretty dope to go.
My mantra for 2023 is to first honor all commitments that I make to myself, because that's gonna put me into the practice of honoring commitments to other people. I'm continually building the man that I wanna be. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to say, who am I as a man? Like, what are the things that I value? And I wanna be known as a man of my word, and that starts with honoring commitments to myself.
Right. I think that's the toughest battle.
For sure, it's like playing chess against yourself. It's like you could cheat or you could, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter, or does it?
I think it does.
I know.
To your point of
integrity
like
and the type of man you want to be too. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, integrity. I was always told that integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody's watching. So you got to hold yourself accountable, even if nobody ever will know that. It's still gonna build you into the man that I want to be at least. You know?
Right. I kind of cheat a little bit with that, and I try to like tell people my goals and tell people what I'm doing, because then
they'll hold you accountable. Like, oh, what's up with this? You said you was doing this.
Yeah. That's why I love doing stuff like this, because I see you on a regular basis, right? So I could tell you something, and I know by next time you come back, like you might ask, you might not, maybe whatever. But just in my head, like
you want to have it done in case. Yeah.
What is your dream title of like what are you trying to do with your career as far as, because you're a writer, right?
I am a writer, yeah.
What is your dream title? Maybe if it's not a title, what
I don't
do you want to
necessarily
be
dreams in terms
doing?
of work. I like my dreams consist of what can make me happy, you know, and how can I be happy? Because, you know, a lot of times I feel like people don't necessarily define happiness. They just know that they're not sad, you know? And it's like, just because you're not sad don't mean that you're happy. And so I am on a mission to like find true happiness and really stay there and not have it based on anything that somebody can take away from me. So I never base my happiness or my idea of happiness on having a job that somebody can take away from me,
Right.
you know, or having anything that somebody can take away from me. So what I dream of most is starting a family and being a good, you know, representative to my children and being a good husband. Like I dream about that often. I pray about, you know, a wife that I don't even know yet, kids that I don't even know yet, you know? Because I want them to be happy. I want them to be, you know, productive members of society. You know, they're already gonna be, my kids are already gonna be attractive and smart because of me, you know? But I want them to be kind and I want them to be good people. And I saw this interview on Instagram where this guy was telling him how he was raising his son, and another black man was crying because he was like, you know, I watched you tell these stories about your son, and it made me realize how we are, as fathers, have to like raise superhumans to be able to exist in this world. Like you can't just raise a child without intention. Like you have to intend on sowing into this child because the world that they're walking into does not love them.
Yeah, it's wild out here.
That's a crazy thought, right? Everybody else teaching their kids about Elmo, you gotta teach your kids about the police. It would be irresponsible not to. A dream job, it would be a father, a good father, and a good husband. And, you know, with that, I take my idea of what a good father is and I juxtapose it to my idea of a father based on my own father. And I find that most times, the older I get, I give my parents a lot of grace. Because I'm like, okay, I'm my age, right? And at my age, my parents had 4 kids. What would I do with 4 kids? What would I do? I wouldn't know the first thing to do, but they started young, so they had a lot of experience by the time they got to my age. So they were like killing it at my age, you know? But like, what would I do right now with like teenagers? My parents had teenagers. Like, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. And my parents had me at 16.
Wow,
And
yeah.
so,
Y'all grew up together.
Grew up together. And I think about it now and I'm like, what would I do with, dang, I guess my kid would be 17 right now.
Wow.
Like, what would I do with a 17-year-old? I can barely take care of my 13-year-old without like, you know, beating him up. But
Yeah.
like a full 17-year-old, like, yeah, so same thing. I give my parents a lot of like, I would say more forgiveness than anything.
Yeah.
And like more understanding now of like, I mean, they were kids too.
You didn't know what you were doing either. Exactly. Like I can't, but we expect our parents to be like experts at parenting. You're a parent, you're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
I used to get so mad at my dad for not being Uncle Phil or not being, you know what I'm saying, he clipped Huxtable.
Right.
And it's like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, yo, he was the perfect guy for me. You know what I'm saying? He taught me the things that I needed to know in the world that I live in. And I don't live in the world of the Huxtables.
Yeah.
I don't live in Bel Air.
Are there any similarities between Miami and LA?
Um,
Is there anything that like made you say like, all right, I could see myself staying here for
Well,
12 years?
we have similar weather. It's just that it rains a lot more. But the rain here is like baby rain. Like it's not. We have torrential rain, but then it stops. It'll rain for like 20 minutes, really, really, really hard. You think it's like the world is over. And after that, it dries all up. You wouldn't even know it rained. That happens often. It is crazy.
That's crazy. So I got to bring this up. What about traffic here?
You know that's a point of contention for me. I think that
Exactly why I brought it up.
I think that because LA is such a diverse place and diverse on many levels, like obviously socioeconomic, you know, racial, and even like class, you know what I'm saying? And cultural, you know, and everybody treats driving differently. Some people drive to relax, some people drive to get where they're going. And I find that in Miami, everybody has somewhere to go. So everybody is breaking the rules in the same way.
Because they're all going
Because
somewhere.
they're all going somewhere. So if we're all speeding, we're all speeding.
Gotcha.
And not like here where you got some people speeding, some people cruising, some people are driving while high, and they don't care what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's no driving culture here. I think people here expect to be in traffic, and so they plan to be in traffic. So like when they're in traffic, they don't try to avoid traffic or try to make less traffic. They don't make decisions to make traffic less of a headache. They just say, it's gonna be traffic, let me plan my day around the traffic. Whereas me, because I live kind of centrally in the city, I think I can get anywhere in 30 minutes, and that is not true. But I should be able to get anywhere in 30 minutes based on where I live. And I'm the one, it's me, I'm the problem. I'm the one who gets super frustrated about not being able to drive, or like, why are you driving so slow? Or why are you two cars in front of me driving next to each other so I can't get around? That's the thing that kills me. That's why I want to get a train horn so bad, I really do. I know it's obnoxious, but I want to get a train horn so bad.
So what was the first thing in the car that made you say, you know what? I'm about to start recording videos.
I was on I-10, right? Because I used to work in Santa Monica, and I'm like, I am 6 exits away from my exit, and why is it taking me 45 minutes? Then I started like looking in the cars of people who were driving next to me and seeing that people were eating a full plate of breakfast, putting on makeup. They're like doing everything but driving, and I was so mad because I'm like, if I'm late one more time, I'm gonna be fired, and you don't care at all. You got everything going on in your car but driving. And that's when I started going off. And it always seemed to be a Kia. It's like, why are these, who is giving, are they giving y'all like a driving manual?
Whoa.
I'm telling you.
Don't talk about the Kias.
It was a Kia every single time. Every single time. I was like, oh my God. And yeah, it's like people, it took me a long time to adjust to the fact that people aren't as much in a rush as I am, or that I should leave earlier.
Yeah. So how long you been growing your hair, bro?
Since 2005.
2005.
Yeah.
And you cut it a few times, but without cutting, your hair would be where? Down?
It would be to like my thigh.
To your thigh?
Yeah, because we cut it, you and I cut it, and then I went to Miami, and my loctician in Miami, she cut it, and then I cut it one time. So yeah, and it's still pretty long.
What kind of hair care secrets are you willing to give away?
I mean, there really is no secret. It's like drink water, and like everything that you put in your body affects everything in your body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you say that, and that's a fantastic tip, but not everybody knows that. Like, for some reason, everyone thinks there's a magic like shampoo or a magic conditioner that does it. So I 100% believe in like what you put in your body and everything. So you're saying just a healthy lifestyle is?
I mean, that helps. I mean, and a regimen of like, for me, I spray my hair with water so it doesn't get dry. You know, I try to understand what's actually happening on my head. Like, okay, your body always gives you clues as to how to help it. It'll show you that your hair is dry. It'll show you that your hair is brittle, and you have to react. You know, you have to change if you want to see some change. I always try to like preempt the problem too. So it's like, okay, if I know I'm getting older, I know that, you know, some people's hair starts to thin when they get older. And the men in my family have this particular condition. Let me like walk into this as, you know, equipped with everything I need as possible. So mostly drink water, you know?
Biggest tip that I just heard is just being awareness.
Yeah.
And everybody's situation changes. You get older, you may move to a different location.
But also know what you're working with, right? Like, look at the people in your family. Look at some of the things that they're going through. You know what I mean?
Why do you think hair care is not a big thing for men? Or why do you think it's such a...
I don't think men, well, I think men are doing it now, but before, men don't take care of their hair, their barber does. So if you don't have a good barber experience where your barbers are offering you products or, you know, telling you that you should wash your hair this many times a week or whatever, and they don't do it because it's like they become clueless because it's like, well, I know I leave the barber looking like $1 million, So I'm just gonna rely on him to develop my hair care situation. And you can't do that. Like going to the barber has to be just that, going to the barber to get your hair cut, but you are responsible for what happens on your head.
Right. Barbers, we gotta step it up, huh?
Well, I think that your clients gotta step it up. They have to make sure that the canvas is right.
Right.
They can't come and expect in America now. Just because you're not adding hair, you're only taking it away. It should be common practice for barbers to look at each client and offer them a specific plan for their hair. Like, hey, I'm noticing this is going on with your hair. We're not gonna cut it down too much here. We wanna keep this hairline from receding. We're gonna do this. I recommend these little drops. So I recommend you up your water intake, or I recommend, not wearing as many hats, things like that, because that, causes traction alopecia. Like this, I would feel more secure if I had that type of consultation from my barber. I think you and I talk very openly about hair and skincare, you know? And we help each other, you know? And I think that it would be great if other barbers said that, even though people are cranking these people out of their chairs like it's a factory, I still think that you should, in order to build a great relationship, the relationship shouldn't be based on, when I leave here, my lineup is tight. I feel, it should be more about I feel comfortable, skipping a couple of weeks or so and still knowing that my hair is gonna be great. You know?
Right.
You can't bring your barber a trash canvas and expect them to have a masterpiece,
So how do you, you've known me for a while, but if you were starting this process all over again of trying to find a barber, say I just
First of all, finding a barber in LA is so tough.
That's what I want to talk about.
It's so hard. Mainly because when I first moved here, I didn't really know a lot of people. So I couldn't just ask my male friends like, yo, where do you get your haircut? Your haircut looks pretty cool. I'll just go to your guy. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It was trial. I'm walking into shops like determining. Like when I found you. I saw that Vince had a Instagram page. And I was like, okay, these haircuts look pretty good. I never got my haircut from a Filipino. Well, I guess we'll figure this out. And then I walked into the shop and he was busy, but you were there. And I was like, well, at least it's a black guy. Let me just figure this out. I guess I'll take a chance with this guy. And you can't get rid of me now. I followed you from here to Timbuktu.
Yeah.
And then when your barber is as busy as David is, right? It's like you almost gotta have a backup person, which is even harder because now you gotta tell two people how to do your hair the way you like it. Or, man, I went to this one guy one time and I was like, look, just clean me up. I got a barber. I don't need you coming in. I don't need you coming in here making no executive decisions about my hairline. I don't need you to try to change nothing. Just clean me up, bro. I'm not gonna be here for a long time,
I feel like that's the worst thing you could tell a
It's cheating,
barber.
but I was loyal. I'm like, hey, I know I ain't gonna be here for a while. I know what I want. Don't come in here trying to be my barber. You're not my barber. You just my backup. It's like, don't come in here trying to change up the way things go. Messing with my relationship. Now I gotta explain why things are the way that they are. Good thing David don't say nothing. He just be like, you haven't been here in a while, and let's see what you got going on here. He's very diplomatic about it. But he's pretty much saying like, this ain't how I left it.
What is, you don't have to put nobody on blast, but what is the worst experience that you've had in Los Angeles?
This was my fault. This was my fault.
Is it your fault?
When I first moved here, I was like couch surfing for a while, staying on my friend's couch, and she lived in Hollywood. So I go there, I see this barbershop. It was nothing but white girls and like this Asian girl. She was like the hippest person in there. I'm like, hey, do you cut black people's hair? She's like, yeah, I can do it. I said, no. Do you do it often? She's like, I got a few black clients. Let me see. Well, I don't have anything I can show you, but I'm sure I can. You're not looking to cut all your hair off, right? I'm like, no. I need a lineup. Oh, I can definitely do that. I'm like, Okay. I wore a hat for like a month.
Ooh,
Because I had to grow everything back.
yikes.
I had to grow everything back.
Did you have dreads when you first moved out here?
Yeah.
What was bad about it though? Like, what was it? Just wasn't what you wanted, or it's
Well,
just
it
like
looked like she was cutting my head. Like she cut one side fully and then cut the other side, and then it looked like two different haircuts. It was like one went off in an angle way over here, and one was kind of like, she was nervous too. She was shaking. She's like, I'm not gonna beat you up. I just won't pay you. But I paid her anyway, and I was just like, this is your fault. You have no damn business going to an Asian girl to cut your hair. And not saying there aren't some dope Asian barbers, but this woman was not it, not for me.
would you say you've had a lot of bad experiences in the chair?
No, because I'm very vocal. Like, what you doing? Let me see. I'm very like that. Like,
So you want to let it get to the point of being like a horrible situation?
it's that, and because my locks are very, very mature, like, people pretty much have a boundary because my hair is fully, grown in, and they know where to stop for the most part.
Gotcha.
So it's not like it's gonna be so bad. I'll know it. I have to walk around with this face for the rest of my life, Like I'll look at this every day and I'll know that it's messed up.
What is if you could design the perfect service, what does the perfect service look like? What should barbers be doing to make their service enjoyable for, I guess, their crowd? Because everyone has
barbers should calibrate their pricing structure based on the experience, right? So even if there is I'm gonna raise my prices, I expect the service to be also elevated, right? So it's like, I don't mind paying for a really good service. Like, we doing towel service, we doing like hot shaving cream, we doing like massage, we doing all this stuff, you know what I mean? As well as put me on a product regimen, like this is something I can buy from you. I don't have to be looking around Sally's or wherever, or shopping on Instagram or looking for a product. If I can just get all of my hair care needs from my barber, then yeah, it would be great. Especially I wouldn't expect my barber to wash my hair because it's a lot, but I'm sure people with shorter hair, I've been watching videos on Instagram, and they'll do a big chop on somebody, and they'll just cut the hair, and I'm like, look at all these flakes. And you just put an oil sheen on this dirty hair. It takes two, especially for somebody with really short hair, it don't take that long to wash this man's hair.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
So basically, anything that's related to your hair should be taken care of if the price is up. If the barber's charging, because barbers are charging, it's pretty expensive now.
It is pretty expensive.
So you're saying for that to be worth it, you shouldn't have to have any worry when you come to sit in the chair.
I should come in this chair and look homeless and leave looking like $1 million. And have all the bells and whistles, because the girls, when they go get their hair done, they are spending a pretty penny, but they're getting their hair washed, they're getting conditioned, they're getting trimmed, they're getting all of this treatments done. And all we're getting is clippers and razors, and you want to charge me $150. It's like, come on, do something else, because now I feel like I'm paying more for the service I've been getting for the last 20 years. And I can't justify the price increase because there's no difference in the experience.
Right.
Some barbers, I go there and they're like, oh, do you want a beer? Do you want some water? And that's cool. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.
But it's like, is that why this is now $50 is more expensive? Like, I bring my own beer if I knew that. Also, if you okay, price went up because I'm using these particular shears. I'm using this particular, these clippers that these are top of the line clippers. These are, you're getting experience because I have elevated my tools, and that costs money. That's gonna be reflected in your service. And it's gonna be better because I'm using better tools, sharper tools. I'm using
tools justify a price increase?
I think so. Tools and product. But only if you're using the product on me. But don't nickel and dime me like, well, I use 2 pumps of this, so that's gonna cost. Don't nickel and dime me, but I do want to be able to see where the money's going. Because I get it. It's hard for you to buy groceries too. Everybody need, but everything going up but my wages. So I'm the consumer is the only one suffering.
Yeah. Do you think prices should go up because a barber cuts a celebrity?
No, charge the celebrity whatever he gonna pay. What the hell I got to do with me? I can't get anything out of saying, "Oh, my barber cuts LeBron James." That don't do nothing for me or my
Some
haircut.
people do.
What
Some
does it
people
do?
I don't
It
know.
don't do nothing for my haircut. All it means is that LeBron James calls you, you'll stop cutting my hair to cut his. That don't benefit me at all. It means that you're less available. I also think like barbers on the East Coast, it's easier to find a barber on the East Coast because I haven't had any bad experiences with barbers on the East Coast. Because I know if I go to a barber shop, I can just go in and get a haircut and I know it's gonna be a good haircut. That's not the case here.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know if everybody has a specific, I don't know if everybody just cutting hair the same in Miami or on the East Coast or what. I feel like I can go to a barber shop, never having been there, and walk out with a good cut.
In Miami?
On the
Or
East
just
Coast.
East Coast?
And so I would trust an East Coast barber that moved to LA just on the strength of they're not from here. Or like a Dominican barber or a Jamaican barber. Let me tell you something. You can't really go wrong. Except I did go wrong with one Dominican barber. But he was half Dominican, half white. So he wasn't like a black Dominican. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what went wrong?
One side was not back. Only on one side though. It's like, are you looking at me? Is it my fault? Am I not holding my head right? And if that's the case, you hold my head. Do what I need to do to make sure I got a straight line. I was really excited because I'm like, oh, he's Dominican. And then we were talking, it's like, oh, my dad's a white. I was like, oh shit. I didn't expect that. Now I'm in here getting a super cut from a Dominican. I didn't know that, you know?
Is race a big deciding factor between choosing a barber for you?
Would I go to a white barber? No. Only because I want somebody who is well versed in the texture of my hair and know how it curls and know how to cut curly hair. You don't have to spray my hair with no water. You don't have to do none of that. If you know how to cut hair, what's your boy name, Tim? I would let Tim cut my hair.
So it's basically where you spend the most time. So experience and what kind of experience do you have?
Exactly. If there's no other black person going to your chair, I'm less likely to take a chance. Because I don't want you experimenting on my haircut.
Do you ever think it'll get to a point where barbers and stylists are just like overall well-rounded and everything?
It depends on the barber, really.
So if we,
I do think that some white boys are getting black guys haircuts. And I think that's what made the prices go up. Because when these black barbers start to see that they could charge these white boys anything, like a black haircut with like a fade tint, you know what I mean?
Well,
Then they started putting those prices on us. We're like, bro, what are you doing? This cost me $15 last week. How we get to 50? You know?
Right. For the barber, it's the majority. It's
Sure,
that person's.
but I feel like my price should be based on the services that you provide me. Just like if I was getting my hair braided, you're not gonna charge me the same thing you would somebody else who's not getting braided. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like I have a specific service. So like, for example, remember when we first met, right?
Yep.
You were like, I don't really know how to charge you because I don't have any other clients that I only do a lineup for.
Right.
So you were like, how much do you normally pay? And I told you, I was like, well, I pay my barber this and I give him this as a tip. So that's, you know, whatever. And so kind of like stayed within those ranges based on the fact that this was a service that you don't really do.
Right.
And I had a specific situation where you're not fading anything, you're just giving me a lineup. And so that's how I think it should be. So whether or not you have to do a whole cut style and dye and all that shit for Brad, that don't have nothing to do with me, and our prices should be different. And not to state you have a white price or a black price, but it should be based on, like I said, service. Sure. You're not using, it's not a scissor cut. It's less precision in that way.
But as we said earlier, tools go up, scissors go up, things go up for the services I provide for overall.
Sure.
So that means my base price can go up, correct?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm saying that too. If it's an overall $3 upcharge, because I don't know how you can justify a $15 upcharge because you got one pair of clippers that costs you $100, or two, even if it costs $1,000.
Yeah.
$10 upcharge for, it's like it more than pays for the tool. But I guess with that, you're not paying for these tools singularly. You're paying for the tools plus the experience, plus the time and equity that I put into barbering, right? And I get that. But it's just like Jamaican food. You gotta learn how to value this at the true value.
I agree. And that's why I agree with what you said about what the person offers, their service, their experience. How much do you feel that service is worth? It should feel what you're paying.
Right.
That's, I
shouldn't
100%.
leave. I shouldn't leave feeling like I was ripped off. You know what I mean? Especially because, well, my hair grows fast. So if I wanted to get a haircut as often as I need a haircut, then I'm just giving you all my money.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. What do you think of like a subscription kind of pricing structure where it's like, all right, I'm gonna charge you, let's say $100 a month or $150 a month. That includes 2 or 3 services, right? So let's say you want to get 2 full haircuts and then maybe a lineup in the middle of those 2. How do you feel about that kind of stuff, though?
I think it's cool. I think based off of how I run my services now, people already pretty much do that without me turning it into a subscription. My question would be, would it benefit the client more so, or would it?
It'll already be guaranteed money for you. So whether they come or not, this is their monthly subscription. You know what I'm saying? So you will get the money, and you have to determine whether or not those services roll over. You know what I mean? So if you get 3 services a month and they don't come in, they only get 2 services one month, could that extra lineup roll over to the next month? It's up to you, you know?
I got you.
But that would be a lot to keep track of.
It would be. So that's what I mean, like, what? Because I don't know if it would benefit me to do that unless, it would be hard to do it, especially with the type of clientele that I have. Say, for instance, your schedule is more open. You can come whenever you want. I think the lifestyle of all of my clients are a little bit different to where offering a subscription, I don't know if it'll work. I wouldn't be opposed to trying it though, but
Like I was telling you about hammering nails, right? And I went there for my birthday to get like a manicure, pedicure. They were trying to sell me on the subscription thing. I wonder how that would work with my barber.
I think
They have more services though, you know?
it could work as an establishment because my schedule needs to be open too. You gotta be able to book whatever time you want. It's about that time. If everybody's on that same type of schedule, somebody can be mad. So it has to benefit everybody. And I don't know if it would benefit some people. So you gotta get how long this guy's hair is. That's not showing its true length.
It's not,
Any hair products that have stuck out over the years?
My tried and true for my hair is like organic root stimulator. I know it's kind of old school, but if it ain't
Organic root stimulator?
yeah, ORLS systems, you know what I mean? Especially like their lock line. I mean, it works for me. I can't say if it works for anybody else, but
That's all we're
my
here.
hair is softer, so it works for me. I don't need any like hard gels.
Gotcha.
People are using like, what do you call it? Edge control. I don't know if this is about barber. I ain't even gonna get into these locticians who've lost their minds. These people are charging based on the length of your hair when you only twist the root.
Wait, to start or to retwist?
To retwist. So like if I was to go to somebody, I do my own hair, you know that.
Yeah.
But if I was to go to somebody else, they would charge me based on how long my hair is. And it's like, first of all, if you were interlocking my hair, I totally get it because you have to take the hair, loop it all the way through, but you're not doing that because I don't need that service. I'm just palm roll, you know what I mean? So it's like, why you charge me for the length of my hair? If you charge me for the number of locks, I get it. I got a lot. I get that, but you ain't saying that. You saying the length. That's ridiculous.
Dang. I didn't know they were out here doing that. Cool. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you coming on today. I got one last question for you. What would you tell Todd 12 years ago before moving out here? What's something that you would like try to tell yourself before coming out here?
Forget everything you know about LA and walk into it with an open mind. This is a brand new world and it can be whatever you want it to be. I think that people's LA experience is based off of where they settle and some of their own habits. So I've been out here for 12 years and I haven't had a lot of experiences that people have had who only lived here for 3 years. And like the world is your oyster. You can get whatever you want out of life if you really want it and if you really want to work for it. And I found that in moving here, I was so focused about keeping my head above water that I missed out on a lot of opportunities because I was deathly afraid of being homeless. You know what I mean? You see homelessness around here all the time. You're like, yo, I'm 1 or 2 paychecks away from that. I gotta always have my hustle hat on. And it was like I was scared into a regimen of work, 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 and not live. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like I would rather have, and I can't say which way is best because like I said, I've lived through what I've lived through. But I do feel like I missed out on a lot of life while trying to finance life. So I would tell myself to just be a little bit more open to life and forget everything you know and make your own experience, make your own mind up about LA or the world, wherever you settle.
Solid advice. Cool. All right, man. What can we expect from you in the next couple of years?
A lot of shit talking, you know what I mean?
All right. What's your, cause you talk on TikTok, Instagram? Like,
everything is It's Just Todd or It's Just Toddrick on Instagram and TikTok. That's where you'll find most of my content. Try to be more consistent. That's another thing for 2023. 2023 is consistency plus persistency. You know what I mean? You have to do something the same way or often enough and with intent and tenacity.
Solid, bro. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for the cut.
Yes, sir. Where'd you get this?
This?
No.
Oh, I went to this boutique and this girl, she brought all this stuff back from Africa.